And now we have ourselves an entire container of sweetened condensed milk. So that's pretty easy. Okay, so you want to create a dessert and you forgot your sweetened condensed milk at the store, or you just ran out. So can you make it at home? Yes. Can you do it with maybe ingredients you have in your pantry? 100%. If you need to use regular milk, you can do that too. Takes a little longer, but you could do that as well. But I can show you how. Come on in, let's take a look. So for your ingredients, you're gonna use a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, 1.5 cups of sugar, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla paste. You can use vanilla extract if you'd like as well. If that's what you have on hand, that's perfectly fine. It's the same thing, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Now you're gonna wanna turn this on to a medium heat because we're gonna get this milk to a boil. And one of the big things that we're gonna need to know is that we're gonna be having to pay attention to it just because it is going to bubble, and we just wanna stir it so your sugars don't burn. So once all the ingredients are in, all we're gonna do is just sit here and wait for it to come to a boil so we can get everything kind of mixed together well. And then that way we also know that our sugars are actually dissolved. One of the key things to make sure that you're doing whenever you are making this is that you're constantly tending to it. You're probably gonna need to be able to stir it a lot. So if this is a task that you are working on, just focus on it at one time, because if not, things can go wrong real fast. Now the goal here is going to be able to bring it up to a boil, and then once it comes to that boil, which I've got a little bit of frothiness on top, but once it comes to kind of that rolling boil for the start, I'm going to pull it off because I don't want it to burn on the bottom, and this will just help me prevent that. So then once I pull it off, I'm going to let it set and cool. Once it's finished cooling, we'll be able to pour it up. I've got a handy little container here. May need to be smaller, but just grab you a container and you can use it. All right, so I think I've got it up to the boiling point that I want. I'm stirring constantly, bubbles are happening. I know that if I leave it there any longer, it probably will scorch a little. Granted, I'm still stirring, so it shouldn't, but I don't want it to reduce any lower. I think I'm happy where it's at right now. We wanna make sure that we go ahead and pull it off the heat, and then that way it can sit and rest and cool. Okay, so once it's all cooled, we want to get a container that you can put it in. Remember, there's gonna be more than 12 ounces because you've put a 1.5 cups of sugar in there. But then don't be afraid to get assistance if it's just you pouring it up. So I got a funnel and this nice little cup thing. This is just like egg drop soup takeout cup or container. But then once it's cooled, we just wanna pour it in. Okay, so typically we like to just use this once it's cooled and it's ready to go. However, we probably are gonna need to store it at least for a little bit, and I would suggest for storing this about a month maximum, and that's with a sealed container that you've put it in. I'd put it in the fridge as well. That just keeps it to be able to be preserved and stay fresh as long as possible. And then whenever you need it, bring it out and use it as necessary or as described in the recipe that you plan on working with. So I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free, put in the comments below. I want to know what desserts that you come up with or what other reuses that you can have for at least the sweetened condensed milk. So anyways, thanks for coming. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.